Why Herschel? They're beating all of our guys up, but what is it about this guy? He changes the entire narrative of the left. We're a party of racists, Sean. Me and you're a racist. The Republican Party's racist. Well, what happens when the Republican Party elects and nominates Herschel Walker, an African-American black Heisman Trophy winner, right? Olympian. It destroys the whole narrative.
That was Lindsey Graham saying we can't be racist. We've got a black friend. Oh, is that it? Oh, sure. What is it about this guy? What is it about Herschel Walker? I don't know, Lindsey. What is it about him? What is it? Maybe it's the fact that, look, he's a former football player. All right. That talks about how the black community, we're failing the black community. Where are the fathers? Where are the fathers? I don't know, Herschel. Where are the fathers? I mean, you're one. We keep finding out that you have more and more secret kids, and that you would have had more secret kids if you hadn't, offered to pay for abortions and had actually paid for abortions. Again, it keeps happening. Right wingers are like, oh my God, why does this keep coming out just days before the election? I mean, that's a good question, right? Well, a better question would be why didn't Herschel Walker wrap it up? I mean, that's a better question, I would think. Because again, he keeps having secret children pop up everywhere. Pretty soon we're going to find out we're all Herschel Walker's children. Isn't that something? But look, that said, the reason they like Herschel Walker is because, as I've explained before, he aligns with their policy positions. He wants tax cuts for rich people because he himself is fairly wealthy. He wants deregulation because he runs a business, right? And he likes free prison labor. Did a story on how Herschel Walker, company that he contracts with, or his company contracts with, does, uses and exploits prison labor, which is majority black. Doesn't pay them. In short, he's the perfect Republican candidate. I mean, add to that he's one of the people that can deflect charges of racism against the Republican Party. That's why Lindsey Graham's like, it's my buddy, it's my pal, look at him. He makes it so that people can't call me racist. Right? No, that's not how that works. That's not how that works at all. I love how honestly they believe getting a black person on their side protects them from charges of racism. It's weird. It's bizarre how they do that. And it's bizarre that they think, oh yeah, no, if we just trick enough black people into being on our side, or I should say, if we recruit enough black people on our side and offer them tons and tons of money to go out and talk bad about black people, we can trick other black people and everyone else into thinking that we're not racist. I mean, I don't understand how they think that works. It doesn't work. The policies and the rhetoric speak for itself. And by the way, there's a reason this didn't work when they recruited Candace Owens, Tim Scott, Justice Clarence Thomas. I mean, what makes you think that adding another wealthy black man on your side would convince people to, into forgetting all of the racist policies that Republicans support? Now, I'm talking things like redlining, voter suppression, defunding public education, cities. And of course, there's also the classical racism. You can go back to the favorite, the hits, the things that they would openly support before and no longer admit is real. I've had conversations myself, and I know it's anecdotal, where Republicans are like, Southern strategy, not real, didn't actually happen. The former head of the RNC, Michael Steele, had admitted that, yes, they used the Southern strategy. The whole purpose of that was to rely on tapping into white resentment over growing minority populations in the South in order to get Republican votes. It literally happened. Literally happened. And quotes like these, you'll love this. This is Ronald Reagan's advisor, Lee Atwater, in 1981 saying this, quote, "By 1968, you can't say the N-word. That hurts you, backfires. So you say stuff like forced busing," which, by the way, President Joe Biden also used to be against forced busing. And then, of course, you have tons of Republicans saying states' rights and all that stuff. States' rights. I mean, you still hear right-wingers using that argument all the time. States' rights. So to do what, Lindsey? To do what? To do what? We're Republicans. To do what? Oh, but there's more. In 2005, there was a Princeton study that really showed racist attitudes in the Republican Party. 79% of Republican respondents agreed with the statement, quote, if blacks would only try harder, they could be just as well off as whites. This is why we need critical race theory. This is why. That kind of statement right there. Oh, if they just tried harder. They're lazy. They're not trying hard enough. No, they need to get up off their butt and get a job. That's what they need to do. Ignoring all the historical ways that black people were not allowed to advance, to catch up to their white peers. Ridiculous. In 2014, by the way, 20% of Republican voters still opposed interracial dating. And then, of course, you have the history of gerrymandering. You have Republicans that have worked hard to draw district lines that disenfranchise particularly black voters. I mean, it got so obvious that in Texas, a number of those districts were deemed unconstitutional because they were such obviously racially prejudiced. Getting more recent, the birther movement. You remember the birther movement? I talked about the birther movement all the time in the show, saying to President Obama, not really the president because he was born in Kenya. And that was pushed by former President Donald Trump. And now, again, going back to critical race theory, well, what if Republicans, glommed on to attack? Critical race theory. And what is that? Well, look, it's actually a college-level course that is, pretty highly advanced. It's not taught normally. So it's taught in very specific schools of law, right? And law programs. But Republicans have expanded the meaning of critical race theory into anything that talks about racism or black history. That's it. It's a catch-all term. I can go on further, but I think you get the point by now about how the current Republican Party is largely based on racism and white grievance politics and pushes a white nationalist agenda. And the reason is, of course, they do this because they want to usher in fascism. Fascism is great for billionaires, corporate donors, or majority white and in charge, and do not want to lose their status, their standing, their political power to minorities. And the best way to do that is to make sure that minorities never have equal access to opportunities and resources, like a good education, like being able to buy houses, to get credit, loans from banks, the same sorts of business opportunities that white people traditionally enjoy. That's how they shut black people out. So, unfortunately, you have people like Candace Owens, like Herschel Walker, that are helping this white nationalist agenda. So, congratulations, Herschel. I hope if you win, I hope it's worth it. But honestly, I hope you lose.